Most of us professional technicians avoid the opportunity to organize and lay out our toolbox in the most efficient manner possible because, well, we got hours to flag. Am I right?
Come on, you pe-
But what if I told you that a well thought out and well organized toolbox could help increase your proficiency and save you money from buying an unneeded larger toolbox or an add-on, and step up your game as a technician in your eyes and your peers' eyes? Let me show you. There's something about your toolbox that's been nagging at you for a while. We've all been there. So what do? Ignore it, obviously. You got work that has to be done. But one day you stroll past your co-worker's toolbox and see a well-organized socket drawer and think to yourself, fuck it, I'm gonna get my tools organized on fleek. Right? That's the correct term, right? Anyways, you look at your options. You can obviously run to everyone's favorite tool store and get yourself some cheap organizers that are, well, cheap. Or buy some really nice tool organizers, but they cost as much as a kidney. Or just upgrade to that new shiny Snap-on toolbox because nobody really cares what's on the inside, right? In my opinion, having a well-organized and laid out toolbox that works best for you in your workflow has a transverse effect on your productivity in the shop, as well as makes you look like you have your shit together as a professional technician. Let's be honest. And it also makes you look more appealing to customers and to your managers. It's basically a raise you don't have to ask for, so why would you not want that? And don't get me wrong, I'm not saying that your skill set or your ability is directly tied to your toolbox or the organization of it. No Snap-on toolbox or high-end tool brand jacket is gonna make you a good tech. That's all on you. All I'm saying is being organized strictly improves your ability and helps you improve your abilities faster. So I found a free CAD software called Fusion 360. It took me about a week or so watching YouTube videos, learning techniques, learning the software, to feel confident enough to actually get a 3D printer and start making my own organizers. So once I got the software down, I went on a hunt for a 3D printer. So I picked up one of these. This is a Creality K1 Max. And the reason I bought this is for two reasons. One was price, two, reputation. Price, 800 bucks. So for 800 bucks, you get a fully enclosed 3D printer that's high speed and can print anything that's 300 millimeters cubed or smaller. There's more expensive options such as Bamboo Labs, but they cannot print at 300 millimeters cubed. I think theirs is 256 cubed, which also brings me to my next reason why I bought this. Creality has been around for a very long time in the 3D printer space, and someone like Bamboo Labs is a new guy on the block, and they're also $1,500. There's other options out there on the market. You don't have to get this one. There's a lot of 3D printers that are a lot more affordable, such as a Creality Ender 3 or say a Prusa or some others. But for me and the projects that I wanted to make, this was the best option for me at the price point. So now let's get on to the organizers. So for a couple of the organizers, I actually went to Thingiverse and downloaded a couple of the free STL files on that website. Hold up, what's Thingiverse? I'm glad you asked. Thingiverse is a website where a bunch of makers, creators can all kind of share what they've made, all their STL files. A lot of the files are free, or you can donate to the makers. Thingiverse isn't the only website like this though. There's quite a few websites like this, such as things.com, printables.com, myminifactory.com. And across those sites you can find millions of things. Anything that your heart desires is probably on that website, from phone cases to rugged storage boxes to pen holders. Anything you can think of, you can probably find it on any of those free STL sites. And I do use them for other things around the house just because it's kind of nice to just download a file, print it real quick and be done. I also enjoy making a lot of things on Fusion 360. But if you don't want to learn CAD, Thingiverse is an option. But back on the subject. So I decided to start with my two most used tool organizers I use, which are sockets and wrenches. For these I decided to use free files from Thingiverse, and for the most part I'm happy with the looks and design. However, there is a few things that I am unhappy with over the course of the past couple weeks of using them. One is with the socket organizers. Now I'm happy with the look and the modularity of the socket organizers, but I have found that due to the design, sometimes when you go to pull a socket off of the rail, it does tend to pull the organizer up with the socket, and now you have to try to fiddle with it to try to get the organizer back down. And quite often it honestly happens to all my most used sockets, and yes, 10mm is one of them. I also realized too on this file that the magnetization to the drawer isn't the strongest. So this file basically tells you to use 8x3 magnets on the bottom. They don't work super well, so they don't stick to the drawer very well, obviously, when you pull the sockets up, but they also, if you put it in the actual drawer, they will slide back and forth. So I think I'm gonna redo the design. I like the design, but I kind of want to change it up so they kind of interlock better. And also I'm probably going to do something with bigger magnets just to make them that more secure. But for now they work. I'm happy with the design and the look and the operation of them, just minus those two minor details. As far as the socket extensions go, these I made myself, and I'm pretty happy with this design as well. However, I think I can improve on space saving with these to allow a smaller footprint and less complicated design, but that's something we can deal with later on. As for the wrench organizers, I think these are perfect in every way. The only flaw that I'm finding with these, I'm not sure, is related with either the printer itself or maybe the filament I'm using, or it could be the STL file. I'm not entirely sure. But these wrench organizers are supposed to be held on with these little dovetail joints, and what I've noticed is they're not actually clasping together. They just pull apart real easy. So what I had to do with mine is I had to organize all the wrenches in the drawer how I wanted them, and I basically super glued all these together. I think this can be remedied by kind of changing the dovetail joint in it, or just the joint design in general. And then also too, same with the socket rails. These need bigger magnets. Same again, 3x8 magnets, but they just don't hold. The wrenches like to slide to the back of the drawer over time, just with operating the drawer. Now for the other stuff I designed myself, the one I'm most proud of has to be the plier organizer. At least in my case. I like to organize my pliers vertically in the drawer. Now I have been using the Harbor Freight vertical plier organizers, but those don't always work because a lot of my, like, say, snap ring pliers or specialty pliers are spring-loaded, and they're spring-loaded to push the pliers open. And when you go to put those in your drawer vertically, usually the pliers are too tall and you can't close the drawer. So I usually end up just taking the pliers, laying them flat on the drawer. Usually that just creates a big pile of pliers, and you're always trying to find yourself digging through to the bottom of the pile to get the pliers you need. So I basically designed an organizer that has a ledge that keeps the pliers shut and can be stored vertically. This essentially freed up a whole drawer in my main toolbox, and it's super easy to find the pliers that you need. And I think this was like probably the best solution for my tools, just because the plier drawer was always like the biggest nightmare for me, I think. I also made screwdriver and pick organizers, and also hammer and ratchet organizers for all the ones that aren't stored with my tool cart. The hammer holders are okay, but I think I may redesign them with larger magnets again, and also change the design a little bit because the hammers like to twist inside the holders. The ratchet organizers work well for now, but I may redesign those as well. I was trying to keep it simplistic, but I don't think that's always the best answer, and also I want to increase the magnet size on those as well, because the ratchets will slide to the back of the drawer just due to operation throughout the day. And just for fun, I thought I would also make a separate holder for the iPad mini I use around the shop. I always seem to be setting the iPad in places where it's prone to get damaged if I'm not careful. I wanted to make something for it so it always had a set location that was out of the way of anything. And I also wanted to make it very accessible and elegant. I think I nailed it. What do you think? I also organized my power drawer, but I think that created more problems that we'll probably just tackle later on in another video. A lot like the power drawer, I have some other like kind of drawers that I have in my main toolbox, like the junk drawer, and also an electrical drawer that I want to organize better. And then also too, in my tool cart, I have my electrical diagnostic drawer that is kind of chaos right now, that I also have on my list to organize. And if you guys want to see more of what's to come on this channel, make sure to subscribe. I have no shortage of organization ideas in my head right now. My next project is going to be, the power drawers and diagnostic drawers in my toolbox, but I also have the snap-on tool cart that I use at home for all my 3D printing tools, camera gear, filament storage, that I'm also going to be organizing. I think I'm going to make a whole series on that, just so you guys can see the process of how I design it, how I make it. Basically, start to finish of a messy toolbox to a super clean, neat, organized toolbox. So what are you waiting for? Go out, get yourself a 3D printer, and start making all your coworkers jealous with your badass tool organization. And hell, maybe start a side hustle where you start selling these for your buddies to start organizing their toolbox. You're gonna find yourself looking for problems around the house to solve with the 3D printer, even though it's not a problem. And that is kind of a problem. As always, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next week.